up, guys, and welcome back to Skins in the Game. Big number episode 60. And we got J-Dub in the house today. How you doing, J-Dub?
Doing good. Better late than never, Mr. Furniture Mover.
Yes. This was totally my fault for being late. Just kidding. It was my wife's. But it is what it is because you could never actually blame her, right? But no, it's just perfect timing.
Well, you can blame.
As we're about to sit down and start. And
you can blame her as long as she doesn't hear you.
Oh, yeah, they're about to be here to get the furniture, and she's not home, of course. So it's like, well, guess who has to help move furniture out of the house because we're selling some furniture because we're moving. But hey, that's life. Now I'm sweating. I'm sure you can see it. But it is what it is. Okay. What up, expert? How you doing? That's me. I hit my own comment. What up, Jacob? How's it going? All right. Well, we got a couple of things to talk about today in July. We have our dad joke of the week, of course. What do you got? And then we got some Baker Mayfield trade to the Panthers. We'll talk about that one. We missed last week, so we'll talk a little bit. What do we think about Terry's contract? What Ron had to say before Terry's press conference. And then we're going to go ahead and start predicting our 53-man roster, starting with the offense. And we'll see how that goes. What's up, Patrick? What's up, expert? But let's go ahead and start with the dad joke of the week.
Do I get a drum roll? No. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm glad to be back after many miles. I know you know all about that, but
yep.
Anyway, so what do you call a laughing motorcycle?
What?
A Yamaha.
Oh. I haven't heard the term Yamaha, I feel like, in years. That's funny. But okay, well, there you go. Good one. A Yamaha. If you don't know, now you know. All right. Well, that's a good one. What do you got?
Okay. Well, I'd like to start off with, of course, some useless news where I don't know if you heard, they reported that there were two separate fires in RFK Stadium yesterday in two different areas, and they're investigating, but they say it looks suspicious. I don't. It's scheduled to be demolished in a month or two. I forget when it is, but I don't know what the big deal is. But anyway, that was one of the things that was reported. Then my other one, I'd like to present you with useless trivia.
Yeah.
So there's two teams that are tied with the most losses over the last 5 years.
Okay.
I have the top 10 here, but would you care to guess on what two teams have the most losses over the last 5 years?
I'm going to go with the Giants and Jacksonville.
Oh, that's 2 and 3.
Oh, number one? Okay, let's go with the Jets.
The Giants. Oh, yep. So the Giants are tied with the Jets. But yeah, so they have 59 losses over the last 5 years. Would you care to guess what the Redskins have over the last how many losses they have over the last 5 years?
So they have 55 for the number one.
59.
59. Holy moly.
Yeah, and Jacksonville has 56.
Well, we had a 3-13 year. We've had a couple of bad years so just to throw a number out in 5 years, I'll say we had 50 even.
You nailed it.
There you go. Yes.
50. So we averaged 10 losses per season over the last 5 years. So
cheers to that.
Hail, baby.
Hail. Brutal. Yeah. So fires in the RFK Stadium. I was going back to that real quick. So I guess they're going to get in trouble for burning down a building that's going to be demolished.
Yeah, it happened last night at about 5:30. The investigators are just looking into it, but there was two separate fires, one by Gate C on the lower level, and one is in a completely separate area. So they're calling it suspicious. But yeah, I mean, it's the building's scheduled for demolition. So although if it's arson, it's still a crime. But
yes, because it could have burned down and then other stuff could have gotten on fire next to it because it's a huge building. Things could have fallen down in not a safe way. Because if you're going to demo it, you're going to try to make it collapse in on itself. And that, so yeah, it could have still caused a whole lot of things. It's just kind of funny, the idea of you're going to get in trouble for vandalizing
condemned building.
A condemned building that's about to get taken down. Like that's a good one. Like, oh, what are you in for? Brutal.
Yeah. But anyway,
Brutal.
so what do you got?
What do I got? I am going to be at the FedEx Field practice August 6th. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but you could get free tickets to FedEx Field August 6th. It's a Saturday, and I believe it starts at 6:45 p.m. Me and my wife are going to go. At least I've invited her twice, and she hasn't given me a clear answer, but I'm assuming she's going to eventually say she's going to go. But that's the idea. But anyway, so get your free tickets online. I'm assuming you can still get them. They can't even fill a stadium for a game, so why would they fill a stadium for practice? So I'm assuming you can, but I will be there, and I'm sure a ton of other YouTubers will be there, so it'll be pretty fun. So make sure you get your ticket and come say hi and see me. And I don't know if they give you like an actual seat or if it's just first come, first serve. You can get whatever seat, but I got my tickets. You can just go to – I don't remember exactly where I went to now to get my tickets. I got it last week, but you can get your tickets.
I purposely didn't talk to you earlier about this because I thought you were going to do a weather-related. What do you got?
Because of the tornado that hit
was
yesterday,
pretty daggone close to your
in the neighborhood over. It was probably a half mile from my house.
Yeah, I saw the pictures of the damage, and I knew that. I was trying to look at the street. I couldn't see enough of the streets to know where it was, but I actually talked to your sister, and I was like, "Have you heard from Tim?" And she goes, "Yeah, everything's good."
Yeah, it was Stony Brook. So Millstream turns into Stony Brook right here, like, I don't know, 100 yards from my house or something like that. Turns into Stony as you cross 450. And yeah, the tornado was right over there. So that was definitely pretty close. Pretty close. And then we had a tornado at our old house that was right across the street like 2 years ago. And like completely shut down my neighborhood, knocked down a ton of trees.
Oh yeah, that's right. It closed the road going into your neighborhood, didn't it?
Yep, in and out. There was probably like 5 or 6 trees down across. So even if you somehow got by one, you were gonna run into another. And there's basically one exit out of my old neighborhood. So yeah, that trapped us there all day with no power, no Wi-Fi, and service absolutely stunk down there. So you really couldn't do anything. But it's like going back to 1995 or something. You don't have any internet, 1990, where you're just kind of like, okay, what do I do? Like, all right. So,
sit here and twiddle my thumbs.
Yep. What is up, everybody in the chat? Yuki's here. Just know, how's it going? Can't wait for Ben McAdoo to tell who the next starter. Oh, is Ben McAdoo the offensive coordinator down there? Because they still have crap. What was the guy's name? Matt Rule there as head coach, don't they? I didn't know they hired Ben McAdoo as OC. That's interesting. Panthers play Browns week 1. Is that true? I didn't even think about that. That's hilarious. We're about to get into the Baker Mayfield news, so that's for sure. Now that I looked at Jimmy G's career starts and Baker's career starts, Jimmy G is actually better than Baker. He's won more games, let's put it that way. But not that I like either one of those quarterbacks. So, Anthony Johnson, we had 2 tornadoes in one day, which is rare because I live in with mountains around Lynchburg, so they barely get over the mountains.
Why is it that Baker Mayfield?
Go ahead.
But anyway, he was saying that, is it me or can Baker Mayfield get no love? And it's like, well, if you look at his stats and the fact that they have a 500 record with him there, what love do you want him to get? I mean, they had some pretty good receivers, and I think what is the he actually has regressed. Let me pull up his career stats. I was looking at this earlier. So in 2018, he had a 63.8% completion, 3,700 yards with 27 TDs and 14 interceptions with a 93.7 QBR.
Yep.
Next year, he was 59.4, had 100 yards more yards passing, but he was 22 and 21 with a 78.8. Next year, he had 3,500 with 26 and 8. That's not bad.
Yep.
But 95.9. And then his last year was only 3,010 yards with 17 and 13 with an 83. So he's not improving. And I've always thought of Cleveland as having some pretty good receiving core. So maybe they're right.
Yeah, well, he had OBJ for a couple of years that he could just never get on the same page with Odell Beckham Jr. Jarvis Landry wasn't bad. Their tight ends, Austin Hooper and David Njoku, could never get right. But he also had a tremendous offensive line and the best running back duo with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So their run game was just nasty. And yeah, I completely fell out of love with Drew Lock last year. Their team is actually one of the most stacked teams, even last year, built around him. And he was basically 500 all year. They went 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4. Like, it was just, people like, oh, well, he got hurt last year, so you can't blame him. It's like, that was midway through the season, like week 10, week 8, or week 10, week 11, or something like that. Before that, they couldn't win games. So I don't know. I'm extremely frustrated with Baker Mayfield because I liked him coming out in that draft. I wanted the Skins to get him at pick 13.
So wait, you threw in Drew Lock there. Where does?
Oh, well, I'll get to that in a second. But let's just go ahead and talk about what happened real quick. So Baker Mayfield gets traded to the Panthers for just a conditional 5th round pick. Panthers also split the money with the Browns of what he was owed. I believe it was like $14 million he was going to be owed, so they'll pay $7 million each.
I thought it was 19, but
was
I
it
could
19?
be wrong.
Maybe I'm getting the 9 and 4 mixed up in my head. I didn't look it up. So okay, 9.5 each or so is what they're paying them. So somewhere between 7 and 9.5 is what they'll pay with the split. But now the Panthers have 2 QBs from the same draft that were picked in the top 4 picks. Baker Mayfield was number 1 and Sam Darnold number 2. And then they also have a talented young rookie, Matt Corral, who's really super talented. It's just health is a concern with him. Who wins this job to you?
So I guess they're done with what's his face? Cam Newton.
Cam Newton? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cam Newton is definitely out.
Oh wait, his was this.
Discount double check is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, right.
He's the Superman.
I had the wrong one. It's this one. Yeah, I got it. But
who wins this job?
I don't know much about. I mean, I haven't really looked into Sam Darnold, but I'd say it's a 50-50 shot. Although you would think if they paid that much money for Baker Mayfield, that he's going to get the benefit of the doubt and get the starting job unless he really sucks and the other guy's really good. So I think he's in the catbird seat.
Okay.
But so I'd give the upper hand to Baker Mayfield just with the money they spent, but who knows?
Yeah, I got to agree because you did make the move. Like if you were fine with Sam Darnold, why make the move? Right? Like you already have a quarterback that's going into year 5 and then you have a nice young quarterback, Matt Corral, behind him. So I think it's got to be Baker Mayfield that gets the start. But they did only trade a conditional 5th round pick. Like that's it. So I kind of wanted to ask this question. I'm going to say Baker gets the start, but did we screw up in DC? All right. Do you have opinions on this where we traded a potential second and a third for Carson Wentz? It could be 2/3 if Carson does not play 75% of the snaps, but let's assume he does play. Well, let's not make any assumptions. Let's just say that's what it could be. And we had to take on his full contract. Did Washington make a mistake in trading too much? And should we have gone after the former number 1 overall pick, Baker Mayfield, instead for cheap?
No, I don't think necessarily they made a mistake with the person. I think in negotiations, they probably could have negotiated it better. Uh-huh. But I don't necessarily think that Carson Wentz is a mistake. The jury's out. Mm-hmm. Could be wrong. But like I said, I saw that video where he was throwing the ball 60 yards with what seemed like a flick of the wrist. So the man's got an arm. Mm-hmm. And if he can get everything else together, and he could be, with the receiving core we have, he could be good. So I'm not willing to say it's a mistake yet. And Baker hasn't shown, to be in all fairness, Eagles made it to the Super Bowl because of Carson Wentz. It was, what's his name? Nick Foles.
Nick Foles.
Came in late, but without what Carson Wentz did,
in the
that
regular
part of the
season.
season,
Yep.
they wouldn't be there. Nick Foles is not bringing them to where Carson Wentz did, and he's a big
not a
boy.
12-1 record. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Right. So that's my opinion. I'm not willing to say it's a mistake yet, but we'll see next year. By the end of next year, I could be cussing out Carson Wentz. Insane.
I am also going to say I don't want Baker. So I don't think that like waiting for Baker would have been a good idea. Also, me asking this question is a bit revisionist history because when we made the move for Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson was not traded yet to the Browns. So nobody knew that Baker was actually on the trade block at that point. Because where were the Browns going to go? And then we later knew it was Deshaun Watson. Because at the time, all the rumors were saying he was going to go to the Saints, or he was going to go to Atlanta, or they were going to do something else other than he was going to go somewhere else other than the Browns. And then the Browns came in and swooped in last second and made the deal. But assuming that we did know that Baker was a part of the trade options, like one of the options, and how cheap he would end up going, I personally would still take Carson Wentz, but I'm not going to say it's by a lot because Baker Mayfield, while I was disappointed in him last season, a conditional fifth and only $9.5 million, when you compare that to a second and a third and a swap of seconds this year, and then $28 million.
Yeah,
I like Carson Wentz better as the quarterback, but when you look at the totality, if you assume that we knew he was on the block, I think you could argue that, yes, we did make a mistake.
Yeah, but that's also assuming that they're both going to be able to have the same amount of success. Mm-hmm. I think, and I give Carson Wentz a better chance of having more success than Baker Mayfield. So that's got to be taken into account too. You could say, yeah, all things being equal, wow, we could have gotten this guy for a lot less money. But if he doesn't take you where you want to go, then the savings doesn't matter. You follow me?
100%. Yeah, because like if Carson Wentz hits, like if we had a crystal ball or whatever, and we know that Carson's going to hit, then yes, there's no price that is too much for a top-notch quarterback. Almost, of course, there's exceptions to everything, but
no, I get your point.
A second and a third and $28 million for a guy that, if that's putting up, let's say, top 10 numbers next year with Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, Logan Thomas, and the rest of the crew, then yeah, that's pennies for a starting quarterback like that. But it's like, where do you – because Baker still has potential. While I'm down on Baker, it's not like Baker is dead in the water because he also has a super strong arm. I remember watching when he was coming out in high school, he like twisted his body backwards, threw it over 50 yards in high school. So the guy definitely has a cannon for an arm. He is smaller though. Carson Wentz is a 6'5" frame body where Baker Mayfield's only 6'1". So there is that. But Baker still does have some potential, and there's a legit argument that says maybe that's the direction we could have gone because we also would have had 17, 18 million more dollars in cap space. Maybe we could have gone and got that Bobby Wagner or got a couple of more guys around this team to continue to build.
Well,
I don't know.
Things. I thought a couple quick things. One, I thought that they came, I'm trying to remember what the number was, but I thought that they came out and said that the actual hit was not 28 million
this year.
That with Carson Wentz, I can't remember. I remember bringing it up at the show, but I can't remember the details. But they were saying that the cap hit was not going to be 28 million, as it was going to be substantially less. So I have to look that up again. I can't recall.
I'm looking it up right now. As it sits today, according to Over the Cap hit sits at 28.295.
Okay, I thought it was something on Rigo's Rag or something I read, but it's been a while ago, so I can't remember. Maybe
they were talking about the potential restructure of Carson Wentz. Like maybe there was a theoretical.
Might have been. But yeah, no. But again, I'll have to do some research and maybe I'll figure it out before next week. But the other thing I wanted to say is I think you were telling me something that I didn't realize is that Baker Mayfield is a problem in the locker room. Were you
True.
telling me that?
Yes. The leadership qualities of Baker Mayfield is definitely in question. But that being said, so is
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. That's been in question. Now, since he's gotten here and we've heard more, like teammates were really disappointed that he was gone in Indianapolis with Jonathan Taylor upset the running back. Darius Leonard, their great defensive, like outside linebacker kind of guy. I guess he's more of I don't know, plays linebacker for them. He could do it all. But yeah, so both of them were very upset that they were moving on from a guy like Baker Mayfield. Not Baker Mayfield, sorry, Carson Wentz. So that may have just been more overblown because he's been nothing but great here so far. Nobody said anything bad or nothing's come out. Like it seems like everybody has wonderful things to say. It's not just like, oh yeah, he's a great teammate, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, he's a great human being. He's a great leader. He's this, he's that. Like you hear glowing reviews, not just, yeah, no, me and him are great. Like they're good. You know, just some generic things like that.
Well, and also keep in mind that historically, the Colts offensive line is horrible. And for him to do what he did there, I'd be curious to see if Baker Mayfield was in the same situation with a horrible offensive line, what he would have done. So you got to take that in consideration too, I think.
Flip teams. Yeah, that's very true. Because while the Colts had a great offensive line, theoretically, their pass blocking offensive line was absolutely horrible. So, and his best receiver was Michael Pittman. That's nowhere near Odell Beckham Jr. level. And then Jarvis Landry is number 2. So I agree that Baker had better weapons. Well, not tremendous because OBJ was like a little bit over the hill. I don't know.
Yeah, but didn't they have another guy that was good too? It's escaping me. Sorry, but I thought Cleveland had another pretty good receiver too. But I could be wrong.
Well, now they have Amari Cooper, but at the time they did not have Amari Cooper. They traded for Amari Cooper this offseason. But I think it was basically their 2 best receivers were OBJ and Jarvis Landry. And they had, I think Peoples-Jones is solid, but I wouldn't say they had a tremendous receiving core unless OBJ lived up to what he used to play as. So you mentioned my boy Drew Lock because I did write him here.
Well, said it. You actually said Drew Lock. I don't think you meant to. That's why I was like, wait, you're talking about Drew Lock. So he was subliminally in your mind.
Yes, because I'm excited for him. Seattle was the team that everybody was talking about potentially Baker being traded to. Seattle apparently had no interest in Baker. I think that this means my dude Drew Lock is going to get a legitimate chance in Seattle, and I am here for it. I hope, but please give him a shot at the quarterback position in Seattle. He will have DK Metcalf. He will have Tyler Lockett. They brought Noah Fant, which was one of his favorite targets there in Denver at the tight end spot. They have Chris Carson, and they got the new Kenneth Walker in the draft at running back. Dwayne Eskridge was their 2nd-round pick at receiver. He's kind of more of a slot, smaller, quicker guy. I am hoping this means that Drew Lock gets its opportunity. But Yuki does say here, I heard Sam Darnold might go to Seattle, and that is really interesting. If they somehow recoup anything they traded for Sam Darnold, the Panthers did it wonderfully because they traded a 2nd, a 4th, and a 6th for Sam Darnold. If they could get any of that back, that would be huge for them. But I just don't think Seattle does it. I really don't. I think they're kind of like in a tank mode, and they want to add picks rather than trade picks away. And if they're going to give any young player a chance, it's going to be Drew Lock. Right now, Geno Smith is slated as the starter, which could end up being what it is what it is. I think that would be silly. I think that'd be stupid. I think they should give the ball to Drew Lock and see what happens. But
was he hurt? I'm looking at his stats in 2019. I'm guessing he didn't play a lot of games. He had 1,000 yards.
Drew Lock?
Drew Lock. 1,000 yards.
He's never really been given the reins since he got there. When he first got there, I believe they had Joe Flacco, and he was originally handed the starting job, and Drew Lock ended up playing a little bit towards the end of the year. And then I think he did get hurt in his second season.
It looks like the third to me. It's because, just real quick, in 2019,
Yeah.
he was 64.1%, 1,020 yards, 7 and 3, TD to interception, 89 QBR. 2020 was 57.3 completions, 2,900 yards and some change, 16 TDs to 15 interceptions,
Yep.
75.4. And then last year he was 60.4, 787, two TDs and 2 interceptions with an 80.4. So he's not exact. I mean, granted, that's a small sample size, but he's not exactly lighting things up.
No, he's not. And a lot of people give me crap for liking this dude. But my argument for Drew Lock is he's, first of all, Chris Cooley liked him coming out. Okay.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Chris
That's
Cooley
all I
knows
need to
football.
hear.
Chris Cooley knows football. But he's 6'4", 225, 230 pounds. I think he could be a slightly smaller Josh Allen because he is a cannon for an arm. Problem with him is accuracy, but Josh Allen's original problems were accuracy as well. He fixed his accuracy, and we now know how good Josh Allen is there in Buffalo. But last year, he should have got the opportunity to actually play. But Vic Fangio was playing for his job, and he didn't feel like he had time to wait behind Drew Lock, and he ended up giving the starting job to Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater started the year off 3-0 because they played doo-doo opponents. They played the Giants, they played the Jets, and they played the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they went 3-0. I could have beat those 3 teams. Those teams are trash. And then they ended up going on a terrible run, and they stunk it up for a while. I think they should have given it to Drew Lock at that time. I thought he earned the job as far as the preseason. He looked great in preseason. Teddy looked solid in preseason as well. But the young guy with the huge potential, I thought they should have given him the reins. But Vic Fangio decided he just wanted a game manager to try to win as many games as possible to try to save his job. Well, that was short-sighted because now he's fired, and they got who did they go for? They got the offensive coordinator from the Packers. I think they got whatever his name, or the quarterback's coach, whatever his name was. They ended up moving him to the head coach. But I just want Drew Lock to get one true opportunity, give him the reins, see what he can do. He's got weapons around him. If they do that this year and he stinks it up, I'll shut up about my love for Drew Lock. I'll quit talking about him. But I just feel like Denver never really gave him a true opportunity. They were only putting him in his spot starts. They weren't giving him the number one reps in practice that everybody talks about. That's so important. I think they kind of screwed him over and handicapped him, and that's just how I feel. What up, Dave? How's it going? Yes, the great OC from Green Bay. Thank you. I can't even think of his last name. I feel like it's a weird name. Denver's.
And by the way, yes, YouTube, Gabriel, it's been a long time, at least since I've been here.
Nathaniel Hackett is the head coach now for Denver, and he's got a team around him. Let me tell you, Sam Darnold's going to be in the USFL in a few months. That could be very true. Wentz over Baker, you got to pay more to get better talent. True, and I agree that if everything's equal, give me Carson Wentz, no questions asked. But when you start talking about the compensation and where the risk reward kind of goes in, a conditional fifth and only $9.5 million compared to a second and a third and $28.5 million. It's close.
Not to mention the Redskins' record with ex-Philadelphia quarterbacks is not good.
Well, our record with quarterbacks, period, is not good. But there you go. Can't believe Pat McAfee crew still hates Wentz. Whatever. I know they're big Colts fans over there, so they gotta hate him now. They can't be like, oh, I loved him, and then just be so upset. Colts owner didn't like him since he wouldn't get vaccinated, something like that. Maybe. I have no clue. I don't know if he's vaccinated or not. They don't put that out there, but it's possible. But I have no idea. No clue. All right. Well, enough about Baker Mayfield. Good luck to him and the Panthers. But we're going to talk about our guy. We missed last week. I was out of town, so we could not do the show. But our boy got paid, and it's way ahead of schedule than I thought. I thought this was going to be right before training camp. It's also less money per year, which I'm happy about. Let's get into the details. So we got Terry McLaurin signs a 3-year extension, which was less years than I wanted. I wanted at least 4 years, but we do get what we get.
I think that's why they got the discount, because he has to wait. He only has to wait 3 years to get a new contract. So
True. So 3 years, $71 million, $23.7 million average per year, $53 million of it guaranteed, including a $28 million signing bonus, which is the largest out of all of the receivers. Ron says, hey, we took care of one of our captains, and he was excited about it. Everybody seemed excited about it, and we're here on July 6th. No more talking about, will we sign Terry? What's going on with Terry? Is Terry not want to be here? Is Terry mad? Nope. We have him signed, and how do you feel about this deal?
I'm good with it. Today I watched, and I'd seen it before, but there was like a 7 or 8 minute long video of highlights of Terry McLaurin. And the dude's got good hands.
Yep.
He's got good ball tracking ability, route running. He's the full package. And then when he catches the ball, if he gets behind you, you don't catch him. And I was just watching play after play after play of in traffic, beating a guy, like totally fooling the cornerback, being wide from the whole gambit. And it was like just one right after the other one. Man, pretty glad he's on the team right now.
Oh, he's the real deal. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, as a rookie, he went toe-to-toe with the Defensive Player of the Year, Stephon Gilmore. If you just just go Google that matchup. And Terry, I don't think had a big numbers because I think our quarterback situation was garbage, because it always was. But he was getting open. There was separation big time with him and Stephon Gilmore. So, and that's just him as a rookie. He's only gotten better since. And last year he led the league in contested catches by a large margin. Like, it's almost like if he had 30, the next closest guy had like 18 or something like that. It was not even close.
And that one catch he makes down the left side
against the Chargers.
Where he just, tracking the ball, turned like, he was in like the shape of an S.
Yeah.
It's like, and the guy was right there, and he's still like, nope, I got it. I'm like, yeah. So I feel pretty good about, in the 3 years, I'm not too worried about that. Like I said, they didn't have to pay him, $25 million or more. So I think that they both got what they wanted. He's making good money, and if he's good over the next 3 years, they're going to pay him more. That's what I feel like, and that's what he's banking on. And good for him. He's betting on himself. Say, fine, I'll work for 23 or 20, 23 and a half, something like that.
23.7 million right now. Yep.
Yeah. So I feel, I'm happy that he's on our team and look forward to him. I want to see him play with Carson Wentz. Because Carson's going to find him where Taylor Heineke couldn't always do that.
100%. Baker went to the Panthers for a conditional 5th there at Washington Command Center. How you doing, man? All right. I love this deal. Everything about this deal is great. With the caveat, I would have liked 4 years. But 3 years is fine, because that means we have him for 4 more years, including this season, which is plenty of time. He's already 27. By the time he gets to his next contract, he's going to be like 31, 32 years old, which those kind of guys usually don't get a super high payday. But if he continues to put up numbers and play well, and then, as you said, Carson Wentz elevates his game, he very well could get paid. But only $23.7 million. I was talking about, I thought we were north of 25.
Right.
I really did, because A.J. Brown got 25. They were in the same class. Usually whoever gets paid last gets more, right?
Like, right.
It's just how it works in the NFL. They put up similar numbers. A.J. Brown has more touchdowns, but he also has better quarterback play and more consistent quarterback play, A.J. Brown did, than Terry McLaurin. So when you started putting everything together, I thought that was the market that Terry was sought or going after. I'm super pleased with our front office of getting this deal done at a 23.7 million. Uh, I don't think there's any way they could have got any less than 23.7. Like I feel like that's the bare. I think we got him at the floor. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah,
is
but
awesome. We got him
also,
at the best deal possible.
yeah, but also keep in mind that 53 million guaranteed was a nice greasing of the skids. Like, hey, we're going to
Yeah.
pay you a little bit less, but we're going to guarantee you like 3/4 of it, so or 2/3 of it. So
Yeah.
that I'm
2
sure
years
that has
basically
something to do with it.
guaranteed. But I bet
I mean,
still
I
we
could
haven't.
just for the
Go ahead.
record, I could live on 53 million the rest of my life. Just
I
so,
think
just
I
so you
think
know.
I think I would manage. I don't know. It would be tough.
Yeah,
I'd probably still work, you know.
I'd have to lower my lifestyle, but
Yeah, for sure. But no. And that's the other thing too. I love Terry McLaurin's attitude. It's about the team first. Does it really change your life squeezing those extra $3 million a year out of the team? When that $3 million could go to a nice solid player on defense or a guard on offense if you need it. We don't need that, but just giving an example, like that $3 million per year could be absolutely critical in getting a solid player. I mean, JD McKissick was only like 1.2. DeAndre Carter was like 2 million. So that 3 million could be a key player year in and year out for your team. Your lifestyle doesn't change basically at all at that point. And yet you now have a chance to potentially win a bunch of games with your team and still be set for life. I think it was brilliant. I thought he got exactly he's got plenty. Honestly, he could have taken 10 mil less and still lived comfortably for the rest of his
yeah.
life.
Well, and
But
I always think about what Tom
it
Brady
is what it
did,
is. Yep.
where Tom Brady worked for what 15 million a year. I want to say not, and it's like his idea was pay me, but then use the extra money to go bring. I want talent that I can work with, and
Yep.
so maybe Terry's got a little bit of that. Of hey, look, I can live just fine off of 23 million a year. Now go take the extra money and go bring in some people.
Exactly. It's the same thing with Jonathan Allen. Like I thought Jonathan Allen could have broke the bank a lot more instead of $17 million a year last year. Like we saw other guys get paid that really were only 1 year wonders get paid like $20 million a year at a new team. I thought he also took a team discount. Ron Rivera and company are building a group of guys that are about the team. It's
Yep.
the team, number one. And also, it's not like the bullcrap answer because everybody says they're about the team, right? But it's their actions that are showing that they are about this team. Everybody. Everybody's showing that they want to be here to win with Ron Rivera, with company. I love it. I think that it's awesome. It's brilliant. And I love it.
And hopefully it shows on the field.
Speaking of Daron Payne, Payne needs to be more realistic with his deal. Ron did mention in his press conference that just because someone is on the last year of their deal does not mean they aren't wanted. Do you think that was a direct, not shot, but a direct speaking to Daron through the media right there? Or do you think this is more of a general, just Ron being a good guy to mention that? And like he's also talking about the back half of the 53 or the back 20.
Well, it could go.
You could do
That
one in a
could
year.
go either. That could go either way. It could be a backhand or not a backhanded, but a roundabout way of getting the message to Duran. But it
Right.
also could be, the press asking, "Well, this guy's on the last year of his contract, and you haven't made a deal yet," or blah.
It was unprompted. It was unprompted
Well, then I stand
by
corrected.
because he just came out there to introduce Terry, right? He just give general comments, and it was unprompted in what he said of, hey, he just mentioned, hey, just because you're on their last year doesn't mean they aren't wanted, because he was talking about how much, like, basically he wanted Terry McLaurin to be here and like, paying a captain and blah, blah, blah. And it was such a high priority to get him on the team. I think that it could have just been but that doesn't mean I don't want you 1 year player guys either, right? Like, we don't know what the future holds. If you produce, Who knows? It is what it is. But hey, we got a super chat here. Thank you, Big Money Sonny, sending a $4.99 super chat. Carson Wentz is a top 5 dead or alive. Best believe that is his 2022 stat line will be 35 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and 4,000 yards. If he only throws 5 interceptions, holy smokes. But thank you very much, Big Money Sonny, for the super chat. But yeah, How do you feel about that stat line?
Hey, I like his optimism. I'd go for that all day long and twice on Sundays. So that's hey, even 35-10 would be good. So
35-10. Exactly. Or 35-12. Yeah, if you're over 2-1, you're a solid quarterback. If you're 35-5, that's Aaron Rodgers type numbers. That's insane. So I love it. Thank you very much for the super chat there, Big Money Sonny. Because I said 2 weeks prior to making that trade, I would love that trade. I didn't want to quite trade as much, but even after we made it, I understood, if you want that kind of talent, you got to make the play. And I thought it was awesome. I loved it, man. Well, I don't agree Dinner Live. I think he's going to go out and be between 6 to 8 in the league. Ooh, and top 8 quarterback. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask. I know at one point we were having, or maybe not we, but there was discussions about Daron Payne being on the way out because of the incident and because of other issues. So do you feel like he's not in the doghouse right now and they want him, or do you think they're kind of just playing up the we want Daron to see if they can get some interest in him and maybe get something for him?
I do think they love Daron. I think they like him. I think they like Daron Payne. But the problem is there's only a certain amount of money, right, to go around the league. Currently, as it sits right now, we have $11.7 million left in cap space. Now, that does include the money with Carson Wentz. And if he does fail for whatever reason, God forbid injury or God forbid, just stinks it up, that could save $26 million. And then all of a sudden we do have the money for Daron Payne, which is probably a reason that he felt the need to reach out to a guy like Daron through the media. It's like, hey, nothing's set in stone. If Carson Wentz doesn't work out and we need to rely on Sam Howell next year, or we go trade up big for a quarterback next year in the draft, the money could be there to pay you. But just as it sits right now, we can't justify sending a $15 to $18 million contract. I know that Command Center said he should be in the 8 to 10 mil range. I think he's better than that. I know on this team, he's like the 4th best defensive lineman on this team, but he could be the best lineman on a lot of teams throughout, or at least a top 2. So I think he's worth more than 8 to 10, but you could say $15 to $16 million. That easily could be on the table if Carson Wentz doesn't work out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
35 TDs. Has there ever been a Skins QB to ever get 30 since Sonny? No. Kirk Cousins got the closest with 29. Did Sonny get 30? I didn't think any quarterback ever got 30. Am I wrong?
Let me pull this up.
I could be wrong. I've been wrong,
and especially
like once
in that. Life. Well, the one time I was wrong is when I thought I was.
Yep, he had 32 TDs and 31 TDs. Yeah, the only time I thought I was wrong, it was a mistake. So yes, Sonny did have 2 years of 30+ touchdowns, which is insane considering he played in the 60s. Man, he had a lot of interceptions. It was just a weird game back then. Even the good quarterbacks had so many interceptions. Like, he's considered one of the great quarterbacks in the league, right? And he had 32 touchdowns, 24 interceptions. The next year, he had 22 touchdowns, 26 interceptions.
Yeah, so this says, according to NBC Sports, Sonny Jurgensen in 1967 made the Pro Bowl in his age 33 season after throwing 31 touchdowns, which still stands as a Redskins franchise single season record.
Yeah, I know Kirk got 29. I believe it was in 2016 where he had that big year with like 4,900 yards. But I think it was only 29 touchdowns. So, yeah, we haven't got 30 in a long time. We'll see if Carson can be the first one. How many quarterbacks are we going to go through this year? Over under's got to be 2.5. It's got to be over 2.5. I mean, we've gone through 4 quarterbacks like 3 seasons in a row. It's crazy.
That's right. We started out with Fitzgerald, didn't we? And
Yeah,
he lasted all of Fitzpatrick. Sorry, I keep thinking Larry Fitzgerald. I call him Fitzgerald. Sorry.
I know.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Wait, no, Fitzpatrick, Heineke, Gilbert started a game. And then we were back to Heineke. So I guess this year we only had 3 quarterbacks instead of 4. Right? And then the year before that, we had Alex Smith, Dwayne Haskins, Heineke, and who am I missing? I'm missing one. Crap. That's gonna bug me. It wasn't the butt fumble, was it? That wasn't the butt fumble year, right? No, that wasn't the butt fumble.
No, that was a couple years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody, and it's gonna bother me. But anyway, Alex Smith, Dwayne Haskins, Taylor Heineke. Oh, and Kyle Allen. That's who it was. Kyle Allen. And yeah, so and then the year before that was Case Keenum, Colt McCoy, Dwayne Haskins, and I think.
All right, what if
Johnson or something? Go ahead.
Yeah, what NFL team has the most starting quarterbacks since 2000?
Cleveland.
Oh, you knew that already.
Yeah, Cleveland's been horrible for so long.
They had 26, and the runners up are Dallas and Chicago with 20. So that's how much. That's
even with Tony Romo, and then into Dak Prescott, they had that many.
Hold on, let me see if this is where is this. So there's 3 teams that have only started 3 quarterbacks, or only 5 different quarterbacks during the same time.
You know what? I actually do believe it because they've had injuries, right? I remember John Kitna started for a few games for Dallas. I guess I kind of remember. Remember when we had the butt fumble? I hate the butt fumble. Not as a person. I think he's actually a really good human being. But as a player, I was
you talking about Sanchez?
No, I'm talking about the butt fumble. Yes, it's Sanchez. I don't say his name, though. It's the butt fumble. I just despise him. It's so bad. But anyway. Payne's production and grades are somewhere between Sheldon Rankings, who is making $5 million a year, and Shelby Harris, who's making $9 million, with Harris being a way better player.
All right, now this.
But also, Shelby Harris is much older, is he not? How old is Shelby Harris these days? Oh, he's only 30, so he's not that much older.
Well, Reddit's got different numbers, so you never know who to believe. This says most starting quarterbacks is Browns 25, Cowboys 19, Bears 18, Raiders 18, Dolphins 18. So anyway, enough of that. So let's get through this roster stuff.
Any Hooters. All right. No Texans. What up, bro? Yeah, Texans? No, because you guys had Matt Schwab for quite a few years. But you've gone through some quarterbacks. But Davis Mills, I guess, started all last year. I don't know. But anyway, what is up, everybody? Yeah, definitely don't talk about the butt fumble anymore. And we're going to go ahead and predict. We're going to throw out our predictions for the 53-man roster before training camp. This week, we're going to do the offense. So we're going to go through. We already know the special team, so we're not going to do that. It's, of course, you got Tress Way, the punter, and holder. Cameron Cheeseman, our long snapper, and Joey Sly, our kicker. So that's a given. So now we have 50 spots to fill. Some teams do 25 and 25. Occasionally, teams will do 26 and 24, either direction. We're going to go ahead and go through. Are you ready? You got the roster up?
Yeah, and as I see it, they have, according to ESPN, they currently have 43 players on offense, so you're talking about trimming 18.
I didn't look at it that way, but that's an interesting way to look at it. Okay, so trimming 18.
Because you said they're going to normally 25 and 25, so assuming that they're going to have 25 offensive players, then they have 43 on the roster right now. You got to get rid of 18.
Correct.
So that was
Well,
my
there you go.
basis for it. So if there's somebody that we just can't live without, then maybe they go with 26 and 24. I don't know.
All right. Well, we'll
Or
see.
maybe they get, and let me ask you a question, and this might
Yeah.
be a really dumb question, but is the long snapper that much of a specialty?
Yes. It's a very important position because it's not only some people think about just the snap, right? Which is extremely important, but they also work on that snap to be super accurate. Like the good ones can put it into a mailbox from the punter from punting distance, right? Like they're really accurate with their
And you
long
want them to
snapper.
be able to practice solely on that and have nothing else to worry about. So that makes sense.
Exactly. And like they usually build a camaraderie between the three because Bill Belichick actually talked about this in an interesting way because some people were like, is a holder that important? Like, is a long snapper? Why don't you just use your center? Like, save the roster spot instead. But he started going through the whole process. And yeah, they basically just hang out with each other as far as practicing and they could work on everything because otherwise you would have to have your starting center go through practice the entire time with the whole team, and then you would have to set aside time for him to go work with the
Do long
kicker
snap,
and
right?
everything like that. Because otherwise, you're messing with the timing. You can't just bring somebody in to practice, like on a practice squad to bring long snap, because you're messing up the whole timing and the chemistry and the delivery and knowing when to snap it, as far as like understanding the signals, all that kind of stuff. But also, a lot of people don't think about the long snapper needs to be able to run down the field and tackle on punt team.
Right.
Like they got to be an athlete, right? You don't want a 315-pound center as your long snapper on a punt because they got to be able to get moving and tackle a guy in open field. Like I don't know how many tackles Nick Sundberg had, but Cameron Cheeseman's actually a little bit of an athlete. Like he's not like a huge dude. What's his size? Cameron Cheeseman is 6'4", 237 as a long snapper. So he's not some fat blob out there that just snaps the ball like a center. Not that they're fat blobs. They're actually really, they would absolutely run me down in a heartbeat. They can move. But as far as a NFL caliber athlete is concerned, they're obviously not very good.
Yep.
But
all right.
Anyway.
So the roster.
All right. Let's do this roster. Yeah, I can pull it up here. All right. Here we go. So we will start with the quarterback position. This is probably the easiest, but do you want me to go first or you go first?
Well, let me ask you this. Are you keeping 2 or 3?
I'm keeping 3.
Okay. Then you go, because I know my 3.
I'm keeping Carson, Heineke as the backup, and Sam Howell as our third string with potential in the future. But I think you keep Taylor. He knows the offense. If Carson goes down, God forbid, in a quick, hot minute, Taylor can step in and he knows the offense. So that's who I got.
Yep. And I agree with Taylor and Carson. I actually am having a hard time looking away from the 6'7" Cole Kelly.
That's Roger
like
Smith's
height.
Dude. Yeah, he is a big mamma jamma. But
that's right. So and either way, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe that. But man, a 6'7" quarterback, I want to see that guy. So I would rather keep Cole, but that's just.
He's honestly, he's really just size. I don't think he's that great. I remember I went and looked at his tape after we got him. You know, he doesn't pop off the screen to me. I think Sam Howell has a lot more potential than Cole Kelly. But I hear you. But that's why we have Carson Wentz. He's a 6'5", 237-pound human being. That is no joke. All right. Next up, we have the running back / fullback spot. Do you want to go with how many you're keeping? Or and do you want to go first on this one?
So what's the norm? Was it 4 or 5? Running back.
5 would be a lot. It's not impossible, but I would say 4 is much more normal. Sometimes teams only keep 3, depending on where, like who's actually on the team. But 5 would be a lot.
Okay, so I'm going to go. I was thinking 4. So
Okay.
Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick, I think, are a given.
Yep.
I really don't have a real strong opinion. I mean, I think.
Well, Brian Robinson's got to be on it because he's just drafted in the 3rd round.
Okay, so he's a given.
Yep.
So I'm thinking Patterson's awfully short, but that makes it harder to tackle. But 5'8", 195 pounds, that's not very big. I think maybe Jonathan Williams. I like the 6', 217. I think
Oh,
195 is a little light for a running back, but maybe he's a quick like what's the guy the Redskins had for a long time? And
Chris Thompson.
yeah, maybe he's more like a
He's
Chris
not that
Thompson.
quick. He's really not that quick. He's actually, funny enough, even at that size, he's like a bowling ball in the middle. He's a between the tackles kind of a runner, but he's a talented runner. But I'm not. I think a lot of people would be upset with that because Jarrett Patterson is one of those guys that really made a lot of guys fall in love with him last year in the preseason, especially. And he
Right.
did play decently well last year, but I would not be surprised if you're right and he does not make the team. But I do have him making the team. I think he just works hard, man.
Yeah.
He's an undrafted free agent last year. He came in, did the best he could. I still have him making the squad, but if they don't keep Jarrett Patterson, I think they only keep 3 running backs. I don't think that Williams, Reggie Bonifon, or Alex Arma. Arma is more of a fullback. I don't think either one of those 3 makes the team. I wouldn't be shocked if Jonathan Williams made the team, but that is my prediction. I think they just go there because I think that's just going to be so hard to cut around the other positions as we go in to the wide receiver spot.
All right. So just for the record, let's say they keep 4. So right now we've trimmed off 4 people.
Yeah, I have 4 as well. Yeah, so
Okay.
total right now we've trimmed off 7, which means we have 18 more spots to fill.
Wait a minute. No. What 7 did we trim off?
4 running backs and 3 quarterbacks.
No, we didn't. Oh, you're going the other way. I'm talking about what we've cut. So it's the same difference. I was just talking
Yeah.
about we've out of the 43, we've knocked off 4 positions, so we're now down to 39. We have to get to 25. You're just doing it in the other direction. That's fine.
Yeah, let's continue. Let's do it in my direction though. To be honest,
because your direction's always right.
Yes.
All right, wide receivers.
Yes, wide receivers.
Geez, how many we keeping? 5?
I have us as keeping it 6. I think we keep 6, and it's going to be tough to cut down to 6.
Are you thinking that with that's going to be one of those is going to be the special teams returner?
I do. I have Ali. I'll spoil it. I have Alex Erickson making this team as a kick returner primarily. I think he's going to be the DeAndre Carter of last year. I had DeAndre Carter not making the team all offseason long. We ended up keeping him for kick return, punt return. I think Alex Erickson's going to make the team for that reason, basically. So that's one of my 6. See, some people are saying 7, or Washington Commanders said 7.
Wow.
It's going to be hard to cut somebody. And if we kept 7, it's going to be tough. And that means if we do keep 7, that means we're only going to keep 3 running backs, which might be a legitimate argument because I think Jarrett Patterson could sneak to the practice squad. So I'm kind of talking myself into keeping 7 receivers with that because it's now going to be a matter of like who can you cut and still feel like you can keep on the practice squad. But anyway, for now, I stuck with JP. I'm going to keep it that way, and I'll give my 6 wide receivers, but I'll give a caveat 7 if we don't keep JP. So anyway, do you want me to go first on these receivers or you got it?
Well, and I got to tell you that there's only 5 that I'm thinking that'll make it. And the other ones
only
are
5.
No, I'm not saying there's only going to be 5. I'm just saying is when I'm looking at it, there's 5 people that I think are going to be on the team. The other ones are, so you can add your other 2, but I'm thinking Jahan Dotson, which incidentally, just a real quick aside, that the receivers coach said something I thought was interesting. They said, gave a receiver the best compliment he could, said that he was watching film because of how good Dotson was doing, and he wanted to find something he could ride him about, and he could not find any routes run or anything. He couldn't find any reason to give him a hard time about anything. I'm thinking, do you really buy that, or is it just, like blowing smoke? He's like, well, there was one, and it was like, well, that's not that bad. I couldn't find anything to write him about. I'm like, come on, man, you're our coach. You could find something.
You'll find something, right?
Yep.
Well, even if it's folding your arms on the sideline or something, I don't know. Find something to complain about.
You gave up on that. You stopped running full speed on that running play. But anyway, so obviously,
even if he didn't stop full speed, just blame him for it, right?
Yeah, yeah. You weren't putting 100% effort in.
No, that's
but
funny.
Anyway, so Jahan Dotson, obviously. I like Antonio Gandy Golden. Always have. Big guy.
Okay.
Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, and Cam Sims. That's the 5 that I'm looking at. I think are going to be on the team. You want to add the other 2? That's fine. I don't really.
Hold on. Say that again. Dotson.
So Dotson,
AGG,
AGG, Terry,
Uh-huh.
Curtis Samuel, and Cam Sims.
Cam. So those are your 5.
That's the only ones I have. I think are good. Would like to see make the team. I like them. The rest of the guys, like I said, you can add the other 2 or pick, whatever your 7 is. I'm sure they're going to pick or keep a couple other ones. I just don't have a strong opinion on which ones.
All right. So I don't have AGG. I am not an AGG guy. I think that they go, as I said, Alex Erickson, I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I have, so Dotson, Terry, Curtis, Cam, and Alex, and then De'Ami Brown, our 3rd-round pick last year.
Oh, okay. I see him. So 6 foot, 195 pounds. Okay.
Yeah,
fair
he's
enough.
A 4-4 guy, deep threat, and I don't think they get rid of him this soon. The guy that I would keep if I were going to keep a 7th would be Kelvin Harmon.
Yeah, I was thinking about him too. So, all right.
That's
so
who
what do
I
we
would like.
So out of 12, we've kept 6. So that's 6 more people.
Yep. So that puts us at 13 people. So we have 12 more on the tight end and offensive line.
Okay.
So tight end spot. All right. Tight end. So you went first last time. I'll go first this time. I want to keep 4. I really want to keep 4, but I think we only keep 3. I think we only keep 3, and it's going to be John Bates. It's going to be Logan, and it's going to be Cole Turner, the rookie 5th-round pick that we drafted. So the one that I want to keep is Sammis Reyes, because he's the most interesting as far as a 6'5", 260 pounds, built like a tank as far as just how he's basically sculpted. I mean, the guy looks like he just lives in the gym. But yeah, I don't know. Sam Howell's bestie. Yeah, you got to keep De'Ami for sure. So you're keeping Sims and AGG over last year's 3rd-round pick. Yeah, but no, he's going to keep Brown. But Dax Milne can return too. I don't hate Dax Milne. I just don't see a spot for him to make the team right now. Our 7th-round pick a couple years ago. I just don't think we can manage it. I really don't. I just don't. But anyway, back to the tight ends position. So I had Bates, I have Logan, and I have Cole Turner.
So you're keeping 3.
I'm keeping 3.
And I'm always big on height, and I see this guy Curtis Hodges at 6'8", but he's only 240. That doesn't seem at 6'8". You should be more like 260, at least. As a tight end, that just seems skinny to me. So, I can't argue with your choices. Obviously, Logan Thomas.
Dad, I also forgot AGG. They're actually talking about converting him to a tight end. So you could keep him as one of your tight ends if you wanted to instead of receiver.
What's his bio? What's his
6'4", 2? Where did I see him? 223. But I think they're going to try to have him gain a little bit of weight.
Yeah, you're going to have to beef him up at that. But I could see that. But
anyway,
I don't argue. I don't argue with your John Bates, Logan Thomas, and Cole Turner. I'm fine with that. Like I said, the 6'8" guy jumped out at me, but he's too damn. I have a feeling that 6'8" at only 240 is going to look too skinny to be a tight end. So I'm good with that.
True. Yeah,
so that's 3 more players.
No, wait. Dax Milne was he a rookie last year? I thought he was rookie 2 years ago.
Who
Dax Milne. He said 7th round last year. Was he only a rookie last year? He could be. I don't know. They have him listed as a 2-year vet, though.
And I'm sorry, who are you talking about?
Dax Milne. Dax Milne, the receiver.
Oh, but you're back on wide receiver. I was like, okay.
Yeah, sorry. I was reading the comment. But anyway.
Oh, that's
okay.
fine. Keep me on my toes. That's okay.
Yeah. Pay attention. No, I was kidding. All right. So that leaves us with 9 offensive linemen.
That's not a lot.
And here's my 9. I'll go ahead and go for it, okay? This is tough. This is where it definitely gets interesting. Well, my 2 centers are going to be Chase Rouillet and Tyler Lawson.
Yep.
Okay, that's my 2 centers. I'm done with Keith. He can be cut. I don't care. John Top, I know nothing about, and it's probably going to stay that way.
All right, we're on the same page there.
All right, are my guards. So I'll go from the inside out. So I'll go with the guards. I got Norwell, I got Switzer, and I got Trey Turner. So that puts me at 5 linemen so far. 3 guards and 2 centers. Cool. Okay. Then I got Sam Cosmi, Charles Leno, and I think Cornelius Lucas because he's our backup swing tackle. So that gives me 8. The 9th spot is the most interesting, okay? And I think it's going to be a fight between Sadiq Charles and our 7th round pick, Chris Paul. I'm going to go with Sadiq Charles. I think Chris Paul will go to the practice squad. I think that's where he's going to end up. And I think they like Sadiq Charles' position flex. He can play tackle and he can play guard. So I think he makes the team. But I think Chris Paul, if anything happens to Charles, I have Chris Paul making this team over everybody else. Is there anybody you disagree with or
no? And I agree. The rookie,
go ahead.
Chris Paul as a rookie, I could see him, going to the practice squad and polishing up some stuff, getting some experience. So no, I have no issues with who you just listed.
Well, there you go. Well, there's our starting 53. So we have Carson Taylor Howell. We have B-Rob, Gibby, JD. You had Jonathan Williams. I have Jarrett Patterson. Receivers, you're going to keep, you said Dotson, Terry, Curtis, Cam Sims, De'Ami Brown, and AGG. Are your 6 receivers?
AGG, I had 5, but De'Ami Brown I'm fine with 2. So yes, go with the 6.
I had Dotson, Terry, Curtis, Cam, Alex, and De'Ami Brown with a honorable mention of Harmon if they decide to only keep 3 running backs. And then...
You mean wide receivers?
No, if they only decide to keep 3 running backs, they're going to keep an extra receiver.
Gotcha.
In that case with Harmon. I have them only keeping 3 tight ends. As much as I would love to keep Sammis Reyes, I think that he is going to get cut. But I would love for him to somehow find a way to stay on this team. I just don't know where. Or, you know what? I can see us only keeping 3 running backs and then maybe 4 tight ends on this team. Because also Logan might not be healthy enough for week
that's
1.
Still up in the air. They're optimistic, but you know how that goes with the leg injury.
Maybe they would try to give Sammis Reyes with more time, putting Logan on the physically unable to perform list, maybe. And, say, hey, you missed the first 3 weeks of the season. That's fine. We'll give Sammis a little bit more time. Keep him under wraps. We don't want to let him loose. And maybe that's what they end up doing. I would love to see Reyes really work out in the long run.
And MP makes a really good point. And I was just going to say that to me, if you have a salary cap, then you should not limit the number of players you can have on the team.
MP. Oh, here we go. NFL really should expand the roster from 53 since they added a week to the schedule. Oh, but you are going with a whole different angle. Say that one more time.
No, what I'm saying, I think that if you have a hard salary cap, $230 million, whatever it is, then have as many people on your team as you want, but you can't go over $230 million. You know what I'm saying? Why are they limiting and I understand before it was like they didn't want a team to stockpile a bunch of players and keep them from other players or other teams. But if you have a hard salary cap,
Yeah.
why do you care how many players? Hey, you want to sign 230 players at $1 million each? I'm
Go
exaggerating to
ahead.
make a point, but you're getting, yeah. Let me see what quarterback you get for $1 million. So that, like I said, I exaggerated to make a point, but it's like, hey, you want to sign 100 players at $2.3 million average each? Go for it. But as long as they have a hard salary cap, then, although I know you could always, why is it 53? Why are they so dead set on you can only have this number of players? I think with the salary, before there was a salary cap, I understand that because a rich team could sign, 100 players, pay them more than anybody else could pay back in the day. That was much more prevalent than it is now. I don't think there's a lot of teams that are hurting for cash.
Yeah, like MLB, since they don't have a salary cap, you're saying they should have a limit on how many players they're allowed to have. You can pay them as much as you want, but you have a limit on how many guys you can pay.
Right. And that's the Yankees with the luxury tax. I know they talk about, but in the MLB, the Yankees could pay all the big players a ton of money more. They made a lot more money than everybody else. So George Steinbrenner was always able to give contracts to a bunch of players that other teams couldn't compete with. I don't know that that's as much of an issue now as it used to be. But like I said, if you have a salary cap and you hold them to the salary cap, then it should not matter how many people they sign. And you can limit the practice squad. I get that. You can have 10 players or whatever it is on the practice squad. Whatever that number is, because that basically is outside the salary cap.
It is outside the salary cap. Yes,
right.
You're right.
So have a salary cap and sign as many players as you want, but you can't go over this number. And
it's interesting. It's very interesting. But to MPs, I think they are going to expand the roster eventually. To MP's point, let me look it up. I thought they were going to expand it.
When I'm listening, or Washington Command Center saying, man, if there was no roster limit, 7th-round picks would be really important. You could stock them and lock up a stack of lottery picks. Well, again, but you can only pay a total of what is the salary cap now? Is it still around 230? Sign, like I said, sign 100 players, but you can't go over 230 or whatever the number is now. I don't know if 230 is right anymore.
Right. I don't know. I think there are 4 protected practice squad players now that teams can't sign, right? I'm not I thought if you were going to the practice squad, you were going to the practice squad, but protected practice squad players. A maximum of 6 players on the practice squad can have more than 2 accrued seasons. Teams are allowed to protect 4 players per week from being signed by rival teams. I don't think that's included until after the 53-man cut. And then other teams have an opportunity to grab up the teams, and then you fill your practice squad. I think they have to, all players that are cut from before the 53-man roster are subject to waivers, and somebody could waiver claim a player before you go in the practice squad.
So after all the teams are done filling their rosters, then you can fill your practice squad.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
Because I don't think this is because it makes sense for during the week, right? Like you have a really good practice squad player, and then all right, well, we're not sure if X starting left tackle is going to play. We want to protect our tackle that's on our practice squad because we may need to move him up as a backup, right? We don't want our left tackle's kind of on the fence, and now we're screwed because Monday somebody took this guy off our practice squad. You know what I mean? So I understand that, but I don't think that applies right after the 53-man roster. I could be wrong. I'm not saying that as a person of authority, but that's my assessment of it. And then as far as this is interesting, I do think there is an international player protected roster spot, and Sammis Reyes would fit under that. Bada got that last year. The defensive end, whatever his name was, Bada got that. So
I know who you're talking about. I'm not sure if that's his
David
name.
Bada. Yeah, from last year. I'm pretty sure he got that roster spot. So it could happen that Sammis Reyes ends up getting that card if that's the direction they want to go. But that is what we have. And then last 2 weeks ago, we finished the show on this. Is there anything else before we do the exercise we're about to do?
What exercise are we going to do? Oh, the win-loss thing?
No. Here we're doing it. We're going to end every show with a game of Weddle.
Okay.
All right. So this is the easy mode. So I'll let you do this one, and then I'll go ahead and do the hard mode. But so this,
by the way,
easy mode.
Thanks Santiago just for it's 208 million. Appreciate that.
Yeah, he was just giving it 230 million as an example because it's probably going to get there in 2 or 3 years. But yes, it is only 208 million. But yeah, we're going to play Weddle here. Okay. So have you ever played Wordle?
Yes.
So it's the same idea, but this is NFL players. And on the quote unquote easy mode, there's only offensive players throughout this entire thing. So start with whoever you want, what the first player that comes to mind. It could be any team, but an offensive player.
Terry McLaurin.
All right, we'll start with the man who got paid. Okay, so here's what these mean. You got the wide receiver position correct. He's shorter than 6 foot, and his number's lower than 17. He's under the age 26, but he's close. So he's only 24 or 25. The yellow means you're close. And then NFC East being yellow means you have the right conference. So that means he is in the NFC, but not the NFC East. So now we have to go with guys from NFC West, NFC South, and NFC North.
That's a wide receiver. Hold on.
Yep.
Is it Odell Beckham still around?
Yeah, that would be no. Well, the only problem with Odell Beckham, I mean, we could try it just to get some more greens, but he is not under 26. He would be older. But do you want to just try it just to get some more greens or no? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm drawing. My mind is completely going blank.
All right, let's just go with Odell for now. Just to. Oh, is he not an option? Oh, what? Odell is not an option? Okay, Odell's not an option for some reason. I don't know why. He's just not on a team right now, I guess. But
why my mind? I'm thinking of receivers, and my mind's just.
Well, think of them by team. So, like the North, we think about like Packers receivers. You can think about Minnesota.
Yeah, what was the Giant? What was the Giants receiver that left?
Odell Beckham.
No. The other guy that was. Oh my God, what the hell is his name?
I don't know. There's probably like I don't know where Sterling Shepard went, or I'm not sure. I know who I want to guess, but
all right. Well, you throw a guess in there.
All right, I'm gonna guess Rondell Moore. Ooh. So Rondell Moore gives us Arizona NFC West wide receiver. So he's on Arizona. He's above 5'7", above 22, and lower than number 4. Oh, I think I know who it is then. I think I know. He's right here. Oh, it's not him. Who's their other receiver? Crap.
All that came to mind was Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown. I got you. There it is. Marquise Brown. Yep, Hollywood Brown. That's it. That's it. All right. So now, what did I just do? All right. Now we're going to do the hard one. All right. So this could be anything. Name a player. I don't care. Any player that you can think of.
Offense, right?
Nope. Defense. Now it's hard mode could be defense.
All right. Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott. What do we got? All right. So we got an NFC team. We got 28 years old on the nose. He's under 6'2", above 7. Quarterback position is not correct. And because quarterback is gray, that means he is a defensive player in the NFC East. I'm going to go with James Bradbury. Nope. All right. So, yep, defensive player, not a corner, under 6'1", 28 years old, under 24. So now we're thinking either Washington or I'm going to go with, it's not a corner though. What about Bobby McCain? Nope. So it's a Giants player. Excuse me. He's 6 foot, not a corner. Oh, Bobby McCain's listed as a corner on here. He's a safety, but whatever. Okay. Under 20.
The new guy. What is the guy, Sam? What is the guy from Dallas? The new wonder kid.
Micah Parsons?
Yeah. But he's saying the age is 28, so it's not.
No, well, yeah, it can't be hit, but it's a Giants player. We know it's a. No, wait, I'm an idiot. It's not NFC East. I'm a donkey. The yellow means it's not NFC East. That was stupid. So I was guessing players that there was no chance. So it's another NFC team. So that just completely screwed me up. Okay. I got that one confused. All right, so it's on a defensive side. It's under 20, above 4 though.
JJ Watt. No, he's
JJ Watt. It's going to be too tall. No, he is NFC, but
what
he's
about
going to be too tall.
Not Bostic? What's the brothers? Bozeman or
Bosa? No, they're on AFC. Yeah, it's NFC, not NFC East. I'm an idiot. I messed that one up. Let's see. We can throw JJ Watt out there. He's not. Oh, never mind. I guess we can't. Yeah, here we go. JJ Watt. Just to see if we get the NFC West. Nope. So it's either NFC North or NFC East. It's not a defensive end. Let's go with. Let's go with Adrian Amos. Nope, not Adrian Amos. Not even a safety either, so it's got to be a linebacker. On a team
NFC South.
Yep, it's on the team on the NFC South. What number is Demario Davis? Nope. All right, so NFC South we got. It is a linebacker. We already knew that. It's under, so he's 6 foot.
Under 6'2". Oh, he's 6 feet.
Maybe a kicker. I don't think it can be a kicker, but I think it's only offense and defense.
Well, it says linebacker. It says linebacker is right.
Yeah, linebacker's correct. NFC South's correct. It's not on the Saints though, so it could be on the Panthers. It could be on the Falcons, or it could be on the Buccaneers. Oh, Devin White. Devin White. Not on Tampa Bay. So it's either on the Falcons or...
Yeah, what do I know about the Falcons defense?
Yeah, the Falcons linebackers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so tough. I know, right? Linebacker is probably one of my least good positions as far as like knowing the team's depth at linebacker.
Washington Command Center says Deion Jones.
It could be Deion Jones, but I thought Deion Jones is taller. Yeah, Deion Jones is 6'1". But it's not on Atlanta, so we know it's on the Panthers now. So it is a Panthers player. Who the heck's on the Panthers?
I have no idea.
Panthers. And how many guesses we got left? We got 2 more guesses. So we got to guess linebackers on the Panthers with some age. Only one that's coming to mind is Brian Burns, but he's going to be too high of a number, right? And he's also bigger.
I'm not allowed to look up the Panthers linebackers. Am I? 'Cause I don't know. I have no idea.
You can look it up and give me hints if you want. But yeah. Who are the Panthers linebackers these days? Because Hassan Reddick's gone. Shaq Thompson. I guess I don't know. It could be, I guess. Boom! There it is. He got it. It was Just Know was the first one to get it. Shaq Thompson.
Nice.
And there you go. So we did a normal and a hard mode. What do you think about Weddle?
It's interesting. I don't know. I mean, when you start talking about the defensive linebackers of Atlanta or the Panthers, I don't know that.
Yeah, well, it's cool.
Yep.
It would have been much quicker if I didn't remember that this is not the NFC East, like a ding dong. But I basically wasted 2 guesses. So it is what it is. But cool.
Anyway,
well, there you go.
All right, I've got the roll. Great show as always. We filled it up. Great participation.
Yep. DC Gamer says start the next one with the Commanders player. We did start the first one with the Commanders player. We started with Terry McLaurin, but I mean, we could always just start with the Skins player. That's fine in the future. Why not? Doesn't hurt. Yeah, but anyway,
can you tell Weddle we only want to do it for Redskins players?
Can I get can I get 4 guesses Redskins players? That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
all right. My drink is empty and I'm hungry, so.
If you do Weddle Unlimited, no one can spoil it. What does that mean? What's unlimited? What is Weddle Unlimited? Man, there's a lot to this site. Dark mode. Contact us, updates. What is that? I don't even know what he's talking about. But anyway, yes, thank you everybody in the chat for hanging out with us. It was a lot of fun. Big shout out to Big Money Sonny with the super chat. Appreciate you big time. But yes, thank you everybody that hung out with us. We had a nice long show just because I started late. Apologies again for starting late.
Yeah, work with your wife next week that you don't have any furniture moving at 7:00 on a Wednesday.
You work with your wife. How is that going to work out? you let me know how that works out. That's funny.
Yeah. But, well, I thought I could fool you into trying.
You're trying to set your son up for failure. How dare you? That is hilarious.
Oh wait, I should do it that way.
Yeah. This way.
All right.
This way.
Thanks everybody.
Yes, thank you guys so much. It was a lot of fun, and we will see you next week. And until next time.